I decided to finally read the Spider-Man comics, and I was so amazed by it. Everything that Stan Lee and Steve Ditko did was just so brilliant. But once I finished it, I realized something. How faithful are the films to the comics? And most importantly, which truly is the perfect and best Spider-Man film? In this video, I'm going to explain what I love about the film and what I don't like slash annoying as well. Note, this is not a review, and I will also not be repeating the same stuff that I love or hated about the film that's in the same trilogy. Meaning, if I love Tobey as Peter in the first Spider-Man film, I'm not going to say it again in the next films that he's in, unless they do something that I end up hating. Let's get started with this video. Roll the intro. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker is spot on from the comics. He's a dorky kid that everyone loves to pick on and bully. He's awkward at times, even more when he's with MJ.
Hey, you have blue eyes. I didn't notice without your glasses. You just get... Well, see ya.
He doesn't know what to really say, even though he wants to say a lot to her. He loves both his aunt and uncle, who raised him and taught him to always see the good in people and to continue to do good even when the rest of the world doesn't do the same to you. Uncle Ben teaches him that,
remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
He tells Peter, just because it feels right to let your frustration out doesn't mean it's the right way to handle the situation. One thing I love that I never noticed is Norman and how he talks down his own son about graduating to talking to Peter. He's more proud of Peter than Harry.
Oh, that's great.
You made it. It's not the first time I've been proven wrong. Congratulations. Peter, the Science Award. That's terrific.
And oh yeah, how can I forget J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson? You know you're so great at playing a character that they have to recast you again on another Spider-Man film. Because nobody can do this character better.
A little low.
Take him somewhere else then.
Sit down. Give me that.
If you have seen this trilogy, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you'll find that JJ is the best character in this film.
Sold out. Tomorrow morning, Spider-Man, page 1 with a decent picture this time, 10% off. I'll make it 5%.
That can't be done.
Get out of here!
So there's one scene that I like that involves MJ and Peter. It's when they're talking about what they're going to do after high school, and she's too scared to tell him about her dream because you can tell everyone has told her that she's crazy. But she tells him,
I want to act on stage.
and is surprised that he supports her dream. And in the rest of the movie, she's just mainly screaming and screaming, almost getting killed. You know, the generic damsel in distress. The Goblin, on the other hand, is way too over the top. And his costume is not good. And seeing what we could have gotten, yeah, I mean, his suit, it's a Power Ranger suit, guys. He's a Power Ranger, okay? He belongs in that lineup. 2002 Spider-Man is a simple comic book film that's not complex. You know everyone's character and get more in depth with each of the characters as you watch the movie. And for being the first Spider-Man movie ever, it did its job. Sam Raimi did knock it out of the park with the first Spider-Man movie. And it's the first movie that I've seen when I was a kid, so of course, even after all these years, I still like this movie. Wow, it took me a while to realize how fantastic the story in Spider Man 2 really is. It just doesn't add more action, but it tells a better story and one we probably all ask ourselves about superheroes, mainly Peter's. Why are you Spider Man? When Peter tries to be the friendly neighborhood Spider Man, it's all great, but once he takes off the suit, Peter's life is miserable. He can't hold down a job, he gets fired.
You're fired. Give me another chance.
He sees his poor aunt can't afford her house anymore, but still ends up giving him $20 for his birthday, even after knowing she doesn't have enough money.
No, I can't take that.
Yes, you can. You can take this money from me. For God's sake, it's not much. Now take it.
Harry is losing his trust in him because he thinks Spider Man killed his father, and Peter takes pictures of Spider Man. And MJ, after confessing her love to Peter, tells her he doesn't want to be with her. Once he puts on the mask, it seems like an escape from all the problems that he has. From all that until he goes to JJ's son's party, everything comes down on Peter. And I do mean everything. His best friend slaps him in the face.
Isn't that right? Huh? Isn't that right? Huh, brother?
MJ is completely done with Peter and is going to get married to none other than J. Jonah Jameson's son, and has to take a photo of that because his own boss, the only guy who will pay him good money, tells him to, and we get this. Like I said earlier, dressing up as Spider Man is almost like an escape for Peter. But now that exciting swing around the city has turned into a sad one. Even more when.
Oh no. No!
Yes, he loses his powers. Okay, I'm going into a bit of a review here, which is not the intent of this video, but yes, this is an amazing story about our character Peter Parker. By God, Dr. Octavius is fantastic. This one scene alone, play this part of the film to a horror fan, and trust me, they'll ask you, where is this from? Sam Raimi brought his horror movie talent in Spider Man. We now fear Dr. Octopus's arms and how damage they can cause in control of a bright genius man. But what brings him back to being that man is not just a good old punch in the face, but a conversation with Octavius and Peter, the same one he gave to Peter when they first met. And Peter brings something his aunt taught him.
You once spoke to me about intelligence. That it was a gift to be used for the good of mankind. These things have turned you into something you're not. Don't listen to them.
It was my dream.
Sometimes, to do what's right,
be
we have to
steady
be
and-
steady.
And give up the
and
thing
give up
we
the
want
thing
the
we
most.
want the most. Even our dreams.
Even our dreams.
This is how Peter takes down his villain, by reasoning with them because they're human beings just like you and me. They're not monsters.
I will not die a monster.
And I've always loved this part in the movie. When I was a kid, Dr. Octopus sacrifices himself to save New York, not Spider Man. Honestly, after watching this film a couple of times, I can't find one thing that I don't like about this film. But there is one thing that annoys me, and it's this scene.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
I can see what Sam Raimi was going for here, but being all that serious and giving us this iconic shot straight from the comics, that it never really hit home for me. So, I mean, I keep watching this part over and over again, and it really throws me off every time I see this movie. So, yeah, This is the one thing out of this whole movie that annoys me. I truly understand why this is many Spider Man fans' favorite movie because it truly is fantastic. It has a lot of heart and a great story about Peter being Spider Man. It's another great film from Sam Raimi. I love the score in this movie. It's so amazing on how they blend Spider Man's main theme onto Venom's, then onto Sandman's theme, especially during the opening credits. And I love the theme of Venom. When it switches to that one, we get Peter's failures and bad choices when he made them. Then the switch to Sandman's theme, it's honestly really great to hear. I know I'm about to trigger some of you Spider Man fans here, but honestly, I really don't care. I absolutely love Emo Peter. Yep, go ahead, fight me in the comments. I really do not care. Emo Peter is honestly really hilarious and he is so well done. You want to know why he's so well done? You want to know why it doesn't bother me? Because in this trilogy, Peter would definitely act like this. So in this scene here, pay attention to this scene here, it explains it perfectly.
It amplifies characteristics of its host, especially aggression.
It amplifies characteristics, mostly aggression. Peter is a shy, dorky, and awkward guy. Of course, he's not gonna become this tough guy because that's not how this Peter is. And Sam Raimi knows that. He's staying true to his character. And if that doesn't do it for you guys absolutely love Spider Man 2, so do I. But this scene here, mm-mm. I love Emo Peter. He's everything an evil Peter would definitely do. He trashes Eddie Brock with satisfaction. He thinks he can get any girl he wants in a dorky way. And for God's sakes, he blows up Harry, his former best friend's face in half, and smiles as he walks away. Later on, he finally realizes his mistakes as he hits MJ. Emo Peter is just awesome. The third act of this film, sadly, has a great, strong meaning and something that a lot of us have a hard time with, and that is to
You forgive yourself.
forgiveness. Is what Sam Raimi is teaching us with Peter slash Spider Man. It's one of the toughest things to do. I've watched this movie in theaters. This part where Sandman talks to Peter is I honestly cried here.
I forgive you.
I felt the emotion, and I did again watching this from beginning to end. Peter learns to forgive Sandman about killing his Uncle Ben, and it's just really great. I really don't want to beat a dead horse. We all know what's not great about this film and probably have the same reasons on what you don't like. So let's just get through this pretty fast, shall we? Topher Grace as Eddie. I really don't like it. I just see Eric. I'm just waiting for his father to come and put a foot in his. The pacing is really off. The whole movie moves so fast we can't get connected with these characters like before. And the rush of Venom was not what we all expected. Thanks, Oni. But there's one thing that annoyed me, and I was about to put it on what I love, but it just annoys me that Sam Raimi really wanted to do Sandman, and the way he envisions Sandman is just really beautiful. From when he transforms into Sandman, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And in the editor's cut, we get a scene with him and his daughter while he's a sandcastle, and it's just so perfect. And then I'm just like, why is this in this film? All because they really wanted Venom. Venom really wasn't necessary. It could have told a better story. We could have focused more on Sandman's story and his relationship with his daughter and even more connection with Peter and his uncle. But we get what we get. In the end, Sam Raimi couldn't tell his story that he wanted, and This just shows when a studio just starts taking more control, the film just doesn't flow so great. But this film is not garbage because I still enjoy seeing this film. Emo Peter, awesome, but it has a lot of problems and problems that really could have been avoided and could have made a way better film. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man is perfect. You hardcore Spider-Man fans might think Spider-Man is too much of a punk and doesn't take his responsibilities more seriously. When he first puts on his suit for the first time, he takes advantage of the car thief. It's the bullied becoming the bully. And I love it because that's what Spider-Man did in the Amazing Fantasy number 15. Once he got bitten by the spider, Peter was a showman and a guy who only cared about himself. And he used his powers to get fame and money until his Uncle Ben's death. In the film, he learns he can use his gifted powers to help the people in New York when he saves the kid from the bridge. He even does his quips.
Alright, so you don't want to talk? There you go. Don't make me have to hurt you. Somebody's been a bad lizard.
Which is something Tobey's Spider-Man hardly ever did. The relationship between Peter and Gwen is one of my favorites, and it's very genuine, and honestly, it's really cute. It's way better than Tobey's Peter and Kristen's Mary Jane. I feel like they didn't keep it so simple. It's a bit more complex. They understand each other. Gwen understands why Peter becomes Spider-Man, and he understands why she wants him to stop the lizard. It's the same reason about her father. She's scared to lose them in their line of work.
I know what this is. Every day for as long as I can remember, my father has left every morning and he's put a badge on his chest and strapped a gun to his hip. And every day for as long as I can remember, I haven't known if he was going to make it home.
Another thing I really love about this film is showing how smart Peter is. We get a scene of him making his iconic web shooters, and he messes up constantly until he perfects it. It's honestly so freaking cool. The lizard looks really weird. He looks more of a messed up dinosaur, and his character really isn't that three-dimensional. It's simple, but too simple. Sam Raimi villains still had some characteristics. We cared about the villain as much as the hero, but the lizard is just a horrible experiment gone wrong and turns bad, and yeah, that's it. I really don't understand why they had to show the death of Uncle Ben again if it doesn't teach Peter about being responsible. He tries to find the guy who killed his uncle and then stops trying to find him in the end. And like I said earlier, he learns his meaning about being Spider-Man on the bridge, not during his uncle's death. In conclusion, I still really like The Amazing Spider-Man. I love the realisms Marc Webb is going for. It feels more like a movie. It does have some problems, but it's not bad. I wouldn't mind watching it again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed part 1. Part 2 will be releasing once I get done with that video. For the 10 viewers that actually watched it, thank you so much. If you guys enjoyed it, you guys didn't, you guys already know what to do. Comment down below, all that good stuff.